Just gotta hope for some lucky breaks.
Hope is not a strategy.
Anything else, Professor?
Try fast.
Is it too cliche to say that F1 feels like Top Gun on a racetrack? It was directed by Joseph Kosinski, the same guy who directed Top Gun Maverick, so maybe that is an apt comparison. You've got a gruff old veteran putting his life at risk for a shot at redemption 30 years later, an ambitious rookie worried about his place on the team, and an owner bleeding money and desperate for a win before the investors pull the rug from under him. It's full of tension, drama, a little romance, and plenty of nail biting racing action. If you're searching for a blockbuster spectacle that'll probably look better on the big screen, this fits the bill.
I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
It's all right. You're just worried I'm quicker than you.
I don't have too much to say about this movie, not because it's bad. On the contrary, it's probably the best thing I've watched this year. But if you've seen some other racing movies like Ford v Ferrari, Rush, Gran Turismo, or even Days of Thunder, you basically know what you're getting into. The high highs of victory against overwhelming odds, the low lows of despair when our protagonist hits bottom or crashes a rocket strapped wheels into a barrier, an underdog team going up against better funded opponents with more skilled drivers, sprinkle in some romance, team drama, a few classic Hollywood arcs, and a score by Hans Zimmer, and you've got a solid racing flick. Is there some cheesy dialogue and a few cliches? Yes, but what sets this one apart is its high level cinematography, the attention to detail about F1 rules and engineering, and Brad Pitt.
That's the other driver. You say he was old. He not that old. That's a handsome man right there.
Brad Pitt really makes this movie for me. After all these years, he's still got that charm and charisma that sets him apart from so many other actors. This time, it's presented in a much more mature package, and it works perfectly. His character, Sonny Hayes, is a man driven to excel at racing, but he's equally as restless. He's a gambler, a wanderer, and lives in a van. This leads him to compete in wildly different formats, like the 24 Hours of Daytona and off-roading in Baja, except for F1, which he's avoided since a horrific crash 30 years earlier, until his old friend and F1 rival shows up with an offer to join his team that hasn't placed at all this season and pull their asses out of the fire before the investors back out. So Sonny's back in F1, with everyone taking shots at him for his age, his gambling, and his multiple failed marriages.
When was the last time you won a race?
Sunday, Daytona.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
And Brad pulls the role off pretty damn well. He's a gruff veteran of the racing world, but stands out from the pack, thankfully. Sonny comes off as a really unique character, and you want this guy to succeed, to shut his critics up, to not let his buddy down, to overcome his F1 ghosts and show the rookie what a real driver can do. The interplay between these obstacles to Sonny and his dogged persistence, and at times stoic and other times cavalier attitude, really make this an entertaining watch. I'd have to say that Brad Pitt carries the film. He's made Sonny such a likable dude. Sure, the other characters are decent, like Javier Bardem as the team owner, who's fantastic as usual, but he's kind of in the background for a lot of it. The rookie, Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris, is very much of the younger generation, concerned about his media presence and wary of this old guy muscling in on his territory. There's a great dynamic between the two, both when they're working as a team or at odds with one another. And I like how the movie illustrates the generational gap between them, with Pierce training on high-tech devices to improve his endurance and coordination, and Sonny Hayes bouncing balls off the wall or just running around the track. Old versus new. It's classic. Carrie Condon as Kate is alright. She's supposed to be the Apex team's first female engineer, and the movie makes a little hubbub about it, but it's offset by struggles of her own, and the back and forth between her and Sonny works. Then there's the fantastic cinematography and intense racing scenes. There are plenty of them, and they're always fun and tense. The cameras really put you in the driver's seat, and give you an appreciation for just how fast these guys are ripping around the track. Nothing looks like CGI. It's an incredibly authentic feeling movie, even without knowing any of the behind the scenes stuff. After watching it, I found out that Lewis Hamilton was an advisor on the film. Brad Pitt and Damson Idris actually drove the cars, rigged up with special cameras, apparently almost up to 180 miles per hour or nearly 300 kilometers per hour. And they drove on the real F1 tracks because they followed the F1 racing season and were integrated into the races as the 11th team, so they could zoom around during the practice and qualifying windows with real crowds. And then a few real F1 racers like Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen appear in the film. It's pretty impressive. This is about as real as it gets.
But it was Joe Kosinski, our director, and Jerry Bruckheimer, who was just coming off of Maverick, who said, I want to make the most realistic racing movie we've seen today. And I think that's what we've done.
It's fantastically done, and on par with any other modern racing movie, or better, maybe. This story isn't the strongest overall, but the incredible race sequences help to distract from that. And what is probably the most interesting aspect of this movie, and what sets it apart from some of the others in the genre, is just how prevalent the technicalities, rules, and engineering aspects of F1 are portrayed, and used to gain advantage or set our protagonists back. I learned more about F1 from this movie than from anything else, and if these rules and procedures are accurate, there was some very creative writing going on to figure out all the ways our characters could abuse the system as much as possible without actually getting kicked out of the competition. And they're all explained well enough so noobs like me can understand. And it adds a really fun element to the whole thing. This creative bending of the rules is one of the movie's strengths, and it totally works for the old hand, Sonny. And it all wraps up with an adrenaline fueled race with everything on the line, as any decent racing movie would. I really liked F1. The story wasn't the best, but the Sonny Hayes character, the great action and camera work, and the creative rule bending makes for an entertaining time. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'm not a car guy at all, but this movie really had me into it, even the more technical aspects of the engineering. I don't think it quite hits the heights of Ford v Ferrari or Rush, mostly from a story perspective, but I think it tops Gran Turismo, which was a surprisingly decent movie based off a video game. F1 is a good watch, though you might want to catch it in the theater, probably IMAX for the maximum punch. It's very much a spectacle film. Well, that's all I've got for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.